I wanted to just quickly mention seed saving and how to do it. The truth is that seed saving can get really technical. Farms that commercially grow crops just for seed are extremely exact in when and how they collect the seed and their methods. They go for optimal germination and quality. Seed saving can save you money and allow you to gather a great deal of seed from just a few plants. The one drawback to seed saving yourself is that usually the seed you gather will not be an exact replication of the mother plant you are taking seeds from. If the plant has been cross pollinated with another plant of its same kind, then the seed will be a variant, not an exact copy of the mother plant. In order for seed to be an exact replication, it has to be protected from cross pollination. So, as a rule of thumb, seed is usually ready to be collected when the plant has run through its course, and usually when it's begun to dry out, especially in the case of flower seeds. Vegetable seeds are ready to be harvested for seed generally at the end of their life, usually when they're overripe and left on the vine. Flowers are ready when they've died and are dry, and seeds are ready to drop or to blow away. You can then take the seed and dry it out and save it in a little glass container or brown sack for next year. Flowers usually give seed in little pods, um, usually at the end, somewhere within where they bloom. Every plant's going to be a little bit different as to where their seeds are stored. So observe each type of plant that you want to collect seed from and see and look for their seeds. Let them dry out completely and then put down a piece of paper and give them a shake, crush them in your hand or pull them apart, and you'll usually observe how the plant gives seed and what the seed looks like. Seeds come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Cross pollination and the collection and planting of seed is how new varieties are born. There's a lot of science behind seed gathering that could be its own course. Each type of flower or plant reproduces in its own way. Be aware that some plants reproduce solely through seed, like a sunflower, but others produce seed that's not really others will produce seed, but it's not really how the best way for them to be replicated. So a tulip, for example, produces seed, but collection and germination of those seeds is very difficult, and tulips really mainly replicate through bulb replication. But a controlled cross pollination, collection, and germination of tulip seeds is actually how new tulip varieties are bred. So that's kind of how that works. Some plants will replicate mainly through cuttings. A cutting is a little bit of a plant which is cut and then put into soil, which will then send out roots. And then this cutting will then be an exact replication of the mother plant. So bushes and trees usually fall into this category. There are also some flowers such as geraniums and chrysanthemums are also best cultivated with cuttings. Grown from seed, it's really, really hard. So, so for example, we sell chrysanthemum cuttings, and that's how we pass on the chrysanthemums. Obviously, this is a very general overview of seed saving and plant replication. Hopefully, it gives you a little bit of a basic understanding, which you can then use to further study the subject if you're interested in it. If you're interested in breeding new varieties of flowers or vegetables, then seed saving and cross pollination is where you'd get started. Creating your own breeds might actually be a little easier than you imagined. You might choose a flower to focus on, let's say iris, for example. Plant a whole patch of all different iris next to each other, allow them to cross pollinate and grow next to each other, and the bees will do the cross pollination for you. And at the proper time, as the flowers fade, collect the seed. The next spring, carefully plant the seeds and cultivate your iris and see what you get. Some are going to turn out not very pretty and some will be pretty. You can then save and divide the tubers of your favorite ones and give it its own name. It's your very own iris variety. There are entire clubs and societies devoted to plant breeding of particular varieties. I have a neighbor that actually breeds iris, and they're some of the ones that she's come up with are just so beautiful. Um, so a super fun hobby. And you could do this plant breeding with any type of flower or vegetable. I know someone that does it with tomatoes and gets all kinds of interesting results. It's a really fun hobby for a lot of people across the world. You might try focusing on a variety that's less focused on, such as coreopsis or carnation or even green beans, and it may be amazing what you can get. Breeders that get really good will cross pollinate using paintbrushes and very controlled environments. What they do is they'll carefully select and label each one and the heritage, the mother plant, the father plant, to study and further breed other great varieties. And what they'll do is they'll actually go after certain qualities, maybe disease resistance or color or scent. Um, David Austin, for example, is one such famous breeder of roses. And though he has died, his legacy lives on as his company continues to breed some of the most famous rose breeds in the world. So there's a whole world here that you may choose to explore by focusing on one or more of your favorite varieties. Or to save a little money, you might just walk out in the fall and save some of your favorite seeds, knowing that you might get a little bit different result than you did from the mother plant, but still something really beautiful. So that's just a little place to get started with seed saving and plant replication and possibly even plant breeding.